How's the TikTok thing go? Oh, the boy who lives come to die. Are you like me? Do you miss the good old days of gaming? Back when EA would license movies and make it so that it qualified as a AAA release? Back when a Harry Potter video game was on par with Jak and Dexter? Back when Dumbledore still looked like this? Huh? Do you? I miss Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. That was a phenomenal game. Where have we fallen? What's going on? When was the last good movie adaptation of a game? Anyways, that's kind of besides the point. The scope of this video is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone if you're part of the Brexit family, was released in 2001 on several different platforms, with its PC version being the flagship. And recently, I revisited the title only to be thwarted by unstomachable graphics and shoddy controls that barely flew during the time it was released. I mean, we're living in a world where the 4090 exists, my friends. And I'm supposed to look back fondly on this? My friends, today's video is sponsored by my shoe company of choice, and that is Vessi. These are my gardening sneakers. You don't have to necessarily look at those, but I wear Vessis no matter what time of day or year it is because they are just the perfect shoe for all manners of season or weather. And especially as we head into winter, there's possibility of snow everywhere. Vessi keeps your feet very dry because they're 100% waterproof, and they're made from Dymatex, which is a dual climate knit material that keeps you cool in the summer and warm in the cold weather that's upcoming. It doesn't feel like it should be waterproof, and they're also lightweight, comfortable, and breathable, and my personal favorites are the slip-ons. I hate tying my shoes, and the fact that as an adult I can wear shoes that number one are waterproof, but then also I don't have to tie is phenomenal for me. I've loved my Vessis for years. My wife just recently got a pair to make sure her feet are going to stay dry in the winter, and we need to really upgrade the entire office. Kyler, you want a pair of Vessis? He wants them! Vessis are my go-to shoe by the door, and right now they're giving away a pair of socks to the first 100 shoes sold using my code SOCKSUFDTech. And if you missed the sock deal, they have their early Black Friday sale going on right now. You can get your style and size before they sell out. They are honestly a must-wear for me. I love my Vessis shoes. Check them out down below at the link in the video description. So, just like other videos that we've done in the same vein, we're taking it upon ourselves to try to remaster Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone as best as we possibly can with the tools that are at our disposal. So buckle up, get your broomsticks ready, we're about to score some snitches. That's how they play Quidditch, right? So, what we're adding to actually make Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone better, we're upscaling the textures, obviously, because we don't want this. We're also updating the controls because Harry, I don't know if you know this, is a human. He's not a tank, which if you played the original game, it had tank-esque controls where if you press the A or D keys, he turned rather than actually strafing. So we're gonna be updating those controls as well. We're also gonna be adding widescreen support because it was a 4:3 aspect ratio. You remember you used to play this on a CRT TV back in the day. A PlayStation 1 game. Also, we're going to be adding support for additional resolutions because it would only support 1024 by 768, and we got an 8K TV we're going to try to throw this on.
No.
What? Why?
4K.
Oh, okay. Apparently we had problems with getting it to work at 8K, so you're getting 4K ray traced Harry Potter. Oh, right, yeah, we're also adding reshades ray tracing because why wouldn't you do that? It's 2022, people. So the hardware that we're working with, we got Kyler's system because he's the guy who finagles this all together. We got a 9910 850K on his system, and he kind of got it all set up with an RTX 3050, and that ran fine at 1080p. So we threw in a 3090 Ti, and you're gonna see all of the captured footage at 4K with that. So it turns out in order to make all of this work, we had to use the EU version of the game. So we are on the Philosopher's Stone, and there's an unofficial widescreen patch that you can add into that. Also, you can add in the Unreal Engine DirectX 11 renderer, which one of the neat things about this Harry Potter game is that this is one of the first games that actually was made on Unreal Engine. So there's a lot of mod support. Some of it's kind of faded over the years, but because it has such a long legacy of Unreal Engine being a modifiable game engine for it to be built on, it's pretty cool to see just how much you can do with a game that came out 21 years ago. Is that what we're looking at?
Like that.
It can drink in America. If it was in the EU, it could drink a few years ago. It's an old game, and I am old for wanting to continue to play it. We're also going to be throwing in ESRGAN's Upscale pack, which will upscale the original textures in the game, and it's compatible with the widescreen patch as well as the DirectX 11 renderer that we're using. We're throwing in controller support, which is not an actual mod, it's just a manual adjustment to the game's settings. And then we're also throwing in the mouse fix as well as the strafing mod so that you can fix Harry's movement and camera controls and make it so that he behaves like a person and not like a tank, so that will make it a little bit easier. Also, it gives the player the option to hold space and skip the super annoying spell parts, which were broken on PC with the widescreen fix because like it was meant to be squished, and when you draw, it's like not in, like it's a really weird issue that you have, so you just skipping it altogether is probably your best bet because it's not designed to play with keyboard and mouse. And this was actually one of the main complaints when the game came out on PC, was just how hard that segment is on a mouse. It's way easier on a controller. You can skip that now, which you're not losing anything. For the gameplay is bad. And then as always, we've got Reshade, which we're throwing in for some visual effects, as well as Marty McFly's ray tracing setup, which you can get by subscribing to his Patreon. And it has the ray tracing shader pack that uses the existing depth map in the game to get all of that going. This is probably the most controversial mod that we've used in any of our remasters that we've done here on the channel, because it's just so variable whether or not it looks right or not. But thankfully, because of Reshade, you have control over all of that, how much you want to add it in, how deep you want it to go. You can configure everything essentially with it. But one of the issues we did run into with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone specifically is that there's so many different lighting scenarios in this game. Whether you're outside playing Quidditch, you're helping Hagrid get fire seeds for Norbert, or you're actually in the castle, the lighting changes drastically. And so a specific ray tracing profile that we would configure for the dungeons didn't work in different parts of the castle that had all of the stained glass windows. So it was probably the one that we would recommend the least, but it's still pretty cool that you can get 4K and ray tracing on a game that came back out in 2001. And as always, this is not something you have to do, but super sampling the game always helps with extra anti-aliasing, especially because these games aren't built with anything like TAA or FXAA built in. So the way you kind of help with anti-aliasing is super sampling the game. So rendering it out at, let's say, 4K or 8K, if your GPU can handle it, and then getting it displayed at 1080p, it just makes for a better experience, gets rid of a lot of jaggy. So we'll have some details linked in the video description in case you want to do this yourself on how to install all or where to find a lot of these things. You have to have the game legally, of course, in order to play it. But I mean, this is what we went from, and now this is what Harry Potter looks like with everything turned on.
Hey Harry, remember me, Ron Weasley? Might start over. Meet us in the next room. We'll take the shortcut and meet you there.
Stay out of our way, Potter. Let's go, boys.
Hello, Harry. It's me, Hermione Granger.
Flipendo.
Well done. Now, go on and collect your challenge stars. I'll meet you further on. About the break-in at Gringotts Wizard Bank. But there was little time to dwell on this, since Harry and his friends were expected at their flying lesson with Madame Hooch.
Now let's see how you do with smaller rings.
And honestly, this was a huge nostalgia trip. We were excited to see the improvements that we could actually have side by side, because this is what PS1 Hagrid looks like, and then this is what PC Hagrid looks like.
There you are. I hope you did well in your herbology class.
Which, there's something wrong there. All right, that's because the PC version of this game is completely different than the one I played on PlayStation 1 back when I was a child. It's just, there's 9 different versions of this game, which you can check out this video right up here to learn more about. They used to do it differently back in the early 2000s, okay? How they made video game adaptations. I wish we could get back to that, my guy. So we did have a few issues in this whole experiment, minor issues that have to do with the game not starting because you need to run it in Windows XP compatibility mode. Also, sometimes trees and glasses aren't rendered properly in the game, which, in case that's happening, you go to the Harry Potter INI file and you change use precache equals under D3 DDRV to false. All of that, whatever that is, put it on the screen, Kyler. Thank you. And also, we initially thought when we were playing this game that the game was a little too warm. It was a little too orange, and we wanted to adjust that a little bit with reshade. But what we found is that that was a lot of the charm of the original game, making it feel, you know, cozy and kind of kind to you, especially as you're just this 11-year-old boy making his way in the wide wizarding world. It was meant to feel a little bit more warm and not as dark and dingy as the later books and games got to be, because death swiftly happens. Which, I mean, Quirrell got murdered. Like, can we all agree? Like, that was why. But we also noticed that on some modern hardware, the spells were causing a lot of freezing on the vanilla game, and frame rate dips were common, so that's to be watched out for. And also the widescreen fix, as I mentioned, causes issues with how you can do the spell tracing, so skipping it is highly advised. And then the 4K upscaling removes a ton of aliasing left behind in the original version of the game, and the improved controller mod that we added in kind of felt like an unexpected necessity, because as Kyler says, take a look at these little creatures you have to take down early in the game, and see how Kyler had a much easier time working with the improved controls to do so. I always love doing this, seeing what we can actually get older games to look like on modern hardware, especially since we have it at our disposal. And normally what I say in this scenario is that older games suck. They're not actually good, right? Gameplay is bad, graphics are bad. The only reason you want to go back and play them is for nostalgia reasons. But actually seeing what we did with this Harry Potter, I was looking over at Kyler as he was experimenting with all of this, and I was like, hey, that looks pretty good. I kind of want to play that. But the good news is, if there is a game that you have nostalgia for with a little TLC, as long as it was built in Unreal Engine, there's a lot of support and a lot of things that you can do for the game, even if it's 2 decades old. We've done several videos like this with The Witcher 3, Need for Speed Underground 2, GTA 4, now we've got Harry Potter under a belt. Let us know down below in the comments what game you would like us to potentially take a crack at, see what mods and patches are out there to make it more modernized. Obviously, the lighting, the coloring, that's all going to be personal preference, but I think the real takeaway here is that you can get games to look a lot better than they do in their native state.